Hello and welcome back. Today we are showing something a little bit different. This might be one of the craziest bases you have seen. It's quite expensive. Maybe you use a hemp farm, maybe you live in the snow and farm a lot. Either way, we built this with 6 to 12 people, multiple wipes, and we have actually never got raided in it. Successfully. And first off, some cinematics. Alright, so let's start off with a flat spot. We build out 2 foundations to stand on to get even ground. Then we place our triangle and we do the crouch glitching to make the floor stack happen. Don't touch anything, just move to the right, then a little bit to the left until it snaps in place. Then we want to try to place 2 walls and our ceilings just to make sure the stack is looking right. That is a gap that we like. Then we can upgrade the lower one, remove the starter squares. Then we make a full circle of the lower triangle. And then this one is a little bit tricky now, because we're gonna have to do a few things before we fix that one. Because we want low height, high height, low height, high height to get the stability going. So what we can do now is to get these going like this. So now that's low, that's high, that's low. Let's build this all around. So just do the simple pattern to make them all around. Don't worry, we're gonna remove the squares afterwards. And here it's a little bit tricky. We need to build this one to the side to place this one. And then that's why we couldn't upgrade it. Let's remove all the squares now. Then we wanna build these out because they're gonna be in the way otherwise. So just build them out like this. And then we remove the 2 first pieces. When we have done all these now, removed everything, then we can start working on the other part. So now everything is done, looking pretty nicely so far. We can start upgrading the second height. We go all around like this. We're just gonna leave the inner circle, but just to fill it in, we have to do it like this first. And then now we can remove the inner part. But first, let's do the TC compartment. It's always nice to have it done quickly so we don't get griefed. And I simply do it like this. You can now choose whatever triangle you like. Doesn't really matter, but I like to place the TC pretty far out because we're gonna put like a vending machines covering it. So seal it off like a window, just like that. Now with the TC there, we can remove stuff with the hammer. I'll of course use the normal build server tool, just end kill. And that's basically it in the core. So we can start upgrading everything. And now we can start with building out the TCs. So this is gonna be normal stacking. We're gonna go a few out, then come back to make the gap we want. So let's go out with 4. Then put a little triangle. Remove all the squares. Build in triangles as far as we can to build out again. So like this, then we remove the triangles, all of them. And still build out 3 more. So build out 4, come back with triangles, build in 3, and then you do a little triangle in the end. You see here now the gap is pretty perfect, right? So what we want to do is to build this high up, and then we can upgrade this one to final grade. Let's do these on all of them. I'm gonna show you here that you can do it another way as well. You can go 7 out like this, but there's gonna be a little issue with 7 out because now you can't remove them. So maybe you have a friend that wants to remove them for you to make it quicker if you like it, or maybe it's easier for you. Sure, go for it. Otherwise, go 4 out, come back, go 3 out, and then you can remove them with a hammer. So there's 2 ways to do it. And yeah, here again, go high height. Remove all the rest. We ain't gonna need it. You see here the gap is like we desire. We continue all around. Let's do all of them now, finish them off. Coming back to the last one here. Four out, come back to triangles, and then 3 out. Last triangles, make them high, upgrade the most right one. And this is how the footprint should look for you now. Now we can go back with the other pieces, exactly like we built them out before. We come back with them, and we can upgrade them to final grade now. I'll speed this up for you, so you won't have to wait so long. It's very simple, this one. And we can also upgrade the rest of the twig, so everything will be now upgraded. But you have to have in mind that with this footprint, the outer triangles, they will decay. So we need to build out the rest of the footprint to fix the external TCs. Same pattern everywhere. Just do as shown. We can upgrade everything to metal, or maybe stone perhaps. It's depending on what you like to do in the start or what you have, but this is the footprint with the final grades. So now we can do these lower triangles. They're gonna be helping us with the floor stacking and the different heights. I remove this now just because I can toggle on symmetry because I'm on the build service, build a sanctuary. So here we have floor stacking, wall stacking, and much else. And I'm gonna use the symmetry function with 6 sides. So therefore I only have to build once instead of 6 times. And you see now that it builds on all 6 sides. Very nice server. And then let's start with the TCs, external TCs. We build out 2, 1, 2, and then come to the third one, and then fourth, making a circle, and then we can start walling it off like shown here. So this is gonna be the external TC. We do them in these grades just to make it equally amount of rockets, because how I like to do my external TCs, it's gonna be at least 12 rockets to get in. Usually you should count 15, 16, but 12 rockets is possible, depending on what door you have. But anyways, I'm using my TCs as both storage and also locker rooms. So I do a few windows like this, then I put a door on, and you will see inside that I also place some sleeping bags and a locker. It's very handy and very nice for raid defense. To have these to not decay, you need to build these as well, so they can disconnect them with 8 rockets, sure. But if you want to reinforce it, you can build them up too high and it's going to be more than that. Let's say 16 rockets. And then if you want to do windmills, do as I do here, and you won't have any problems with hail destroying them, etc. And I build this normally 7 high because that's pretty alright. Not too high, not too low. They give a lot of power. Now we will have these compartments here, as you see, and one of these you want to remove, because here you want to have the entranceway. The entranceway is gonna be based for your TC, and in here you can store boxes or furnaces, whatever you desire, but we usually use this as a furnace room. And then we come in with a few doors and then windows. And then I sealed off the TC compartment, and here with the last vending machine, you see the line on the floor, you want to follow that, and don't go all the way to the right, but snap a little bit to the left. You see the middle line of the triangle, just put it aligned with that, and you will be fine. You can see I can open the TC still. Then we seal off the little circle and put some more vending machines, and then we can seal off the walkway, and later on do the roof as well. Here I just add another window because it's better early on, because you don't need so many gears then. Also, if you find there's a problem here that you want to have a garage door, remember to place it before you do the vending machines. The frame works fine, but garage door obviously won't place. And also, if you don't like the windows, you can place small boxes in between them so you don't fall down and have a hard time jumping up on them. And as previously, I'm not supposed to remove those. I'm just gonna upgrade them to final stage. And now we come to the fun part also here, because now we're starting with the floor stacking. So put them in the socket that is lowest. We always want to start with a lower height and then go higher up. Let's not build those yet, because then we're gonna get in problems later. So now we can start with the outer layer. Maybe this is usually not the way you would do it on vanilla, but I just do the outer layer because it's easier to show you like this. Then the airlocks can get doors. So now you are sealed from people walking in. And then we can seal also the gaps. Then we are starting off with the bunkers. So this is the outer walls of the bunkers, so you know where the squares are, and you place these walls accordingly. And these walls, you see here, they are now no gap. And the only reason is because all of these 3 walls are the same material and are looking the same way, inside, inwards. That needs to be the case. You can't do 2 walls facing outwards and 1 facing inwards, because then you will have a gap. The only reason that broke is just because of the symmetry. I don't know why it does that, but anyways, now I place it again and we have it working. I'll do the final grade. Reason I don't upgrade that is because then we will have a gap, because they need to be the same material to create that gapless corner. Then I do place the vending machines like this. It's gonna work fine with the roof bunker, and of course I turn them off. And then we can start with the honeycombing. This is supposed to be metal, final grade, so that's how I will do it. So now it's gonna be pretty strong. It's gonna be minimum 16 rockets to get into one bunker, and then you will also have the vending machines blocking the entry with another 9 rockets. So it's really strong. And for the entrance, don't forget to do it. You wanna do it on one of the sides, preferably closest to one of the airlocks, and then you can put some garage doors on. There's not gonna be any floor stack here, so you don't have to worry outside there. But then we can start sealing off the bunkers. So armored walls, like shown. We will leave one of these, so we will take one of them away, just to make entry for the TC. So where you placed the doors previously, there you don't want to place one of those walls. It's just the symmetry that will place all of them for me. And this is now how the bunker works. But before you seal this off here, you see you have 2 different sockets. One to the inside wall, one to the outside wall. You wanna place them on the outside wall, otherwise it will not work with the bunker. So make sure when you place these that the roof bunker stays open. Otherwise you're fucked up, and that could be the end of your base. And then you wanna look in here and check so there's no camper. Nah, I'm just kidding. Then we can seal this off, doesn't matter which socket you choose. And now the bunkers are completed. Then we can seal off these little part and then start with the honeycomb for the core. I like to floor stack the core as well, even on the bottom floor. It adds a little bit more to it. Not necessarily needed, but I like to do it at least. It's not a lot of extra materials either way. But don't do the middle yet, because then we will fuck it all up. So build these triangles, just to make it a bit more expensive. And then we can start with low walls here as well. And then we can seal this part, seal in the rest. And then we are done so far. Let's do the outer layer, but don't do the core. So now in the furnace room, you'll see we have the stack, we have the entry points. The doors, they are not possible to close, because you need to touch the code locks, since you have a good floor stack. So in case you open a door without a code lock, you need to go above it to close it from above, and then you can put a code lock on it. Now we do second layer and third layer of the outer wall. Preferably you want this in metal, but now stone is usually what you will do it in. For building the shooting floor, you want to put some ceilings on the inside, and then we can do some twig on the outside. You can clearly see now what height I am on, so it's pretty easy to build that as well. Then we want to make triangles here on all 6 sides, but on 2 of the sides closest to the airlocks you want to do the ladder hatch. So we do 1 ladder hatch frame there and 1 ladder hatch frame there for the chutes. Then we can fill in like this on all sides. Now we can start with the square frames. And then we can do some windows all around it to seal it off. And this is now how it looks like. To fix these gaps, you can either place frames or leave them open, whatever you prefer. And for these gaps, we're gonna place some roofs. These are a little bit tricky. They might sometimes break. And it all depends if you have a ceiling as shown or not. So you see here, one worked, one didn't work. Just place the ceiling if it doesn't work, remove the ceiling if it doesn't work. One of the ways always works. Then we can seal it off with some embrasures. I choose these embrasures here now, but you will see later on in the video that the other embrasures are really good as well. And then to finish off the chutes, we can just build up like this. Don't forget to put half height here on the last one, otherwise you get in a problem. end off with some frames and then do ceilings. And now we can start with the inner honeycomb again for the bunkers and the floors above it. So we can build this too high, then we can just seal it off. You can do this from the outside as well, of course, so you don't have to do this now, for example. You can build up the core entirely and then do the honeycomb for the bunkers later on. It's optional. I'll do it like this now, just to show you, because it's open and easier. We seal them off on top, and now we have a few pillars. We can then seal off the gaps. Then on the floor above, we can do some frames and lockers. We place them on the inside, then we can open it and put our items through it. It's the easiest way. Otherwise, you have to build the lockers before you do the outer layers of the walls. Because of the floor stack, it's a little bit tricky. Then here for the bunkers, to make them shut automatically if you're out roaming and people raid you, it might be handy to have them close automatically, and this is the best way. You just place a shotgun trap under, so if somebody walks above it, they're gonna get shot, or at least break the seal. And also, it's very handy for the entrance, because now, if you place it just like that, you can simply jump up, and you can still open the bunker, of course. For example, if you're on as the first guy in the morning, you can just jump in, jump up, get into the base, otherwise you need wood and twig to build yourself up, which is a little bit annoying. On this second floor, we can put frames right here, place them right here. Then we can do the entire circle around, which is going to be the door path, leading around in a circle. When that's done, we can do walls. And remember to not put frames here, no frame there. Then you're going to automatically close the bunker forever. But we can seal it in with ceilings, like shown. But don't do over the doors yet, because we need to build some more before that. So now what we can do is just to do the core parts. I like to see here where the door path is gonna go. I like to have it on this one. So I go to the entrance and find the good door path, and then these you have to go inside the little triangle to place because of the floor stack. So just go into each one, place them from inside, and here the entry point, we need to put the hatch and the door frame and the door before we do the ceiling in the bottom. So just think for that. These are gonna place with ease, no worries about the stack, but this one won't place unless you do it before you put that ceiling below down. You see now, it won't place at all. So you have to remove it or have it not placed at all. And then do the door first. Now it places with ease. Therefore we can put the ceilings on. On the other ones it doesn't really matter. You're gonna put maybe batteries or lockers or some stuff like that. So you can just place them to finish off the floor stack on that level. Some people like to remove like half of these and just do some ceilings and turrets and boxes instead usually. So now you can have a turret and a box. And that's pretty nice, I guess. Especially on this floor where you don't have any other options for turrets. We're sealing off the top. And we can seal off these small gaps as well. Then we can do the outer. So now this floor is sealed off from the outside. And we can start sealing off the floor below. Find the lowest of the two stacks. When it's entirely sealed off, we can do the outer circle there. Or let's say the middle circle to be more specific. So there's no ceilings on top there. and there's no ceilings on top in the middle, just to make sure we can place everything. Now we're gonna do some loot rooms. So we're doing loot rooms like this, and also here, a good obs. On the back side of that wall, also place a ceiling, a triangle ceiling, because you're gonna need it later for the peak downs. Put a triangle there as well, a ceiling triangle. I like to do the boxes like this. Then I can put code locks on them, and they're easy to grab. Even if you come on later in the wipe, you can just access the code locks with ease. Very handy and simple. Then we lock off the loot room with some doors. We do the door path yet again on this floor, same as the floor below. And then we do some ceilings to close it all off. We can then do ceilings above the door path, but not the middle yet, because we need to do these walls and frames. Even here it might look like there's no frame, but I can show you there is a frame. It's just a stack that is a little bit deceiving. And if we want, we can now place 2 ladder hatches instead of 1. It's both good and bad, I guess. Then we seal off the core. We do another way up. After that's completed, we can now seal off the floor stack here as well. Just remember to place the door in the middle first, otherwise it will not be possible later on. On the floor above, we can now seal off some stuff, and here we can then start doing the ways to the peak downs. You can choose whatever corners or whatever sides you like. I usually have 2 entrances, and the rest of the 4 sides I will just honeycomb like shown here. Then we get some doors on, seal off the corner pieces, and here in these corners you can add lockers like on 2nd floor as well. Depends how many people you are, if you're gonna fit lockers in these bedrooms or not. I usually don't seal them off just like this. We'll see here in a little second that it's easier to just do triangles with lockers in them. So here we now have 4 bedrooms that are 2x1s and 2 1x1s. And here I figured out that, yeah, let's add these lockers. So we add the 2nd height of the floor stack, put the lockers, seal it off, and then we add back the floor stack. So now we have more space for beds, and we can even add some boxes. So for space efficiency, it's really good to have it like this. Then you can have 3 beds, 2 boxes, and a locker per bedroom, if it's a 2x1 bedroom, so to say. Then door path yet again, same as floors below. Goes around the same way. And I like to place the doors facing towards me, because then all the code locks will be on the outer side. So you don't have to go left, right, you can just hug the outside of the door path and close doors. It's handy. Then the way down and the way up, we want to do them here as well. We want to add it in a way so it's not a weak spot. Then we seal it off like so. We add some more triangles. The last 3 are closed up there. Then we do the ceilings in the middle. And last but not least, let's add the doors. And here you have to remove the hatch to place the other hatch. You usually just want 1 hatch, but if you want 2, it's possible. Last ceilings to finish off that floor stack. And now I figured out that there is a little issue here. Yeah, I forgot to place that door. So important to think that those doors are really important to place before you do the ceilings. And same here. I just realized that these ceilings, they will not place unless you have the garage doors down. So you have to pick up the garage doors if you have placed them here already and do the ceilings first. Ceilings first, doors later. If it's above. If it's below, you gotta do the doors first and then the ceilings. So it's very tricky like that. The floor stack is not super easy, but you'll get used to it, I promise. And now for the inner peaks. We go down a little bit, one floor down, then we go half height up. And here we will then jump down and put some frames. And you'll see here we have a problem then, because this is going to be half height now. We don't want half height while you're running. You don't want to crouch around in the peaks. So what we can do is to add these, but then we don't have any gaps, so that's bad. And the solution I found for this is simply to add half height down here, and then we can add some shotgun traps, etc. there, which is also really nice. Just a door and a shotgun trap, just to encourage raiders to stay in one of the sections instead of moving around freely. And then here a turret to guard the entire section. 6 turrets in the inner peaks are gonna save the day a lot of times usually. Then we add the 2 last frames. We do the metal, just so you can see through them easily. And here you have 3 socket options. You want to find the lowest one. And that's why we placed the little ceiling triangle in the comb earlier, just to be able to fit that one in. Here is also options. Maybe you want it sealed off like this, you only have this peak. Maybe you want to remove this square here and add some half height stuff going on here. I don't like that one. So if you want more peak options, I usually remove these triangles. I build low height walls. I also build low height walls here, and then yeah, pretty good peaks and a few optional peaks. Add some doors just to put them in sections. And now we can seal it off from above as well with half heights, some ceilings, and then the shooting floor and the inner peak downs are basically done. And now there is a few options for more loot storage, and these are a little bit more secretive. You can hide loot on these, for example. But also here, above in this section, you have a super good option to hide loot. I don't do it in my design, but it's very possible that you can place 2 boxes on these 2 squares. And if you place these squares correctly, apart from each other on different sockets, you can stand underneath, use a 4x and loot the boxes through the ceilings. But that's another video, another guy, so I'll leave that for now. I like to do these bedrooms. I usually do just 1 locker, 1 bed and maybe a sleeping bag and a box. Very good as shooting floor bedrooms with 360 view and easy access to shooting floor. Very handy with some personal small bedrooms. Then we put the wall frames like this. And then seal off the inner core with some normal walls. One of these walls I will remove just to make the path. I just have to figure out now real quick how I should have it. Let's place all these corner pieces first, just to section it off, so it makes it a little bit easier to distinguish how I want it. So now we got the core part done, and we are gonna come out this way, and this one will remove, so that's gonna be the entry point. And then also remove this one so we have quick and easy access to shooting floor. And on the back side we do the same, so we have 2 entry points to shooting floor at least. I mean, you can have 3, you can have 10, it's all up to you, but like, yeah, 2 is good enough in my opinion. And here we don't have a problem with that triangle being underneath, because that's the outer layer. It's only in the core part we're having a problem with the doors not placing on the stack, so don't worry for that. And here I like to do some loot rooms, but you see they collapse, and that's because it's on the wrong socket, so I gotta find the correct socket, and now we can do the half height walls. And now we can do the ceilings. I'll do it all around like this. I'm not gonna have loot rooms on all of them, but it's the quickest and easiest way to place them. So let's do it all around and then remove a few. So let's see, I want the loot room there, bedroom there, loot room there, and 2 more bedrooms. So now we have 3 different bedroom options, and with the personal bedrooms we have now 4. So 4 different respawn places. That's very good. Here we place the door. Make sure we do the other sockets as well. We place in all the doors now, because it's gonna be tricky to do them later if we do everything sealed above. So let's just do those for now. And now we can seal off the bottom ceilings to finish off the stack. Once that's done, we can do the boxes in the loot rooms. I do it simple like this, 6 boxes per loot room. And then, least but not last, we can just also seal off the stack on the top. We place our last little ladder hatches. Do 2 just to flex. I wouldn't recommend 2, it becomes like a problem that you can't close them like usual. So have that in mind, you gotta do it like this. And here you have 2 different sockets. You can place on either one. I recommend to do it this way if you want to build it the same way as I'm gonna show you in the cinematics again. Else than that, it's only 6 small gaps you can't cover up unless you want to do some extra walls, and that's this gap here. I hope you enjoyed. This is some raiding costs, some tips and tricks, and some more cinematics. Have a good one. Cheers. And last but not least, if you have these problems, I'm gonna show you here what to do. To place these boxes, you simply go down, close those doors, and they will place easily as never before. Number 2. You see I have this embrasure on here. Of course you're not supposed to have it when you're online, but when you log off you might want to use this one as well as the glass window. And here's why. Simply, when people raid you, they intend to raid you from either side or top. If they go top, they're just gonna run out of rockets, easy as that. But if they go side, they are usually coming, blowing this door perhaps, and then they're gonna blow usually in a corner. And the fun thing with this embrasure is that when raiders do that, they rocket in top of the door or bottom of the door, this window will not take any damage. The embrasure will take damage, but not the window. So if they rocket here in the middle of the door, or middle of the window here, it will take damage to the embrasure and the window. But if they do in the top, you have another 4 rockets for your loot room. Nice to know. And here, lastly, I'm changing some windows. Very nice. And I'll leave you with this goodie. FPS Killer.